Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the iconic Madison Square Garden here in New York for a history-making announcement, a history-making occasion. April the 30th, the undisputed Women's Lightweight World Championship live on Dazn here from the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. The first time in 140 years of boxing and combat sport history, two females have headlined here at Madison Square Garden. This is going to be not just the biggest female fight of all time, but one of the biggest fights of all time. We're going to speak to everybody up here. Of course, my co-promoter, Jake Paul, Most Valuable Promotions, Nikisa, Amanda Serrano, the 7-division world champion, Katie Taylor, the undisputed lightweight world champion, Joseph Markowski from Dazn, and of course, Joel Fisher from Madison Square Garden, our partners in the event. Joel, I'll start with you. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much. There feels like such great momentum and support for this event. It feels like everybody feels this is the right time to make history here, and you guys at Madison Square Garden truly well behind this event.
Well, it absolutely is. I want to thank you, Jake, and everybody else that's been involved, Joe, on this promotion. I really want to thank everybody out here, the press, and welcome everybody. The reception for this and the reaction to this fight when it's been announced has been incredible, and all you guys have been really supportive. So I really want to thank you for that. And there's no place better to do it than Madison Square Garden. To make the history, Katie and Amanda fighting here. This is a long overdue fight, and this is the Mecca of boxing. This is where all of the famous fighters, the biggest fights in the world have taken place. This is history. We are talking about history here, and no better place than Madison Square Garden. So I really appreciate everything all of you guys are doing, and I'm sure that the fight between Amanda and Katie is gonna really be something else, something to behold. And as you said, it's not only just a great fight and it's history, and it's the fight between two women, the first time headlining the Garden. It's just a great fight that people in boxing want to see. So forget about women just in general. This is just a great fight, and it's going to be a tremendous night.
Thank you, Sal. Always a pleasure to be at Madison Square Garden. Sorry, Joel. And Sal, I was going to say thank you to Sal as well, and to Larry. Done a brilliant job this week. Joe, this fight, I think, has even surprised you over the last week with the noise that it's created globally. Of course, we know Katie is a huge draw in Ireland and in England and the UK as well, and Amanda here in the US, both have headlined on major events around the world. But talk to us about the importance of this event for Dazn, and also, the feeling of momentum and true size to this historic moment.
Yeah, I think for us it's an absolutely perfect event. I echo a lot of what Joel said about the quality of the fight, full stop. We completely support that. We agree with it. You've also got the two top pound-for-pound women's boxers in the world fighting, one Irish, obviously for our UK and Irish business, a huge opportunity in the US as well, part of a really strong spring schedule that hopefully we're working with yourself and our friends at Golden Boy to add to in the coming weeks. So a huge opportunity for us. I think a lot of noise, to Joel's point, gets made about this being a historic women's boxing event. For us, this just makes great business sense. It's a really a huge opportunity, I think, for the sport and women's sport more broadly to sort of stop and acknowledge and celebrate the progress that's being made in women's sport. Yourself have been a match. We've been long-time supporters of that. I think, Jake, everything that you and Nikisa and MVP are doing to back this is going to bring long overdue eyeballs. We know from our broader global business outside of boxing that when the media and the industries around sport, the brands, the celebrities, everyone who touches sport gets behind women's sport, eyeballs come, and when eyeballs come, they stay, because the quality of the competition is akin to men's sport in the vast majority of cases. So we're extremely excited about it. I think there's a huge opportunity for all of us up here and the people we work with in our own businesses and outside our partners to use the next 2 months to sort of push this to become a moment in time and a celebration, and everyone at Dazn will be working towards that in the next 2 months.
And of course, a massive card planned as well. We saw Liam Smith against Jesse Vargas after Vargas suffered from COVID earlier. That gets added as a chief support fight, and Cruz Dazn against Serrano, another undisputed fight as well. Big plans for the card, and it's going to be a huge night of boxing.
If you told me that someone involved in the zone boxing early doors in the US would be going to politics, I would have thought it was you. But of course, it's Jesse Vargas, and he's taking a break from his burgeoning political career to come and sort of come onto the card here. So a big fight, a great venue, two world-class fighters. As I say, a moment in time for all of us to maximise in the next 2 months. So looking forward to doing that with you.
Thank you, Joe, and your support from Dazn, of course, integral in making fights like this happen. I'll go over to our promotional partners, Most Valuable Promotions. Quite unique to be sitting here with Jake Paul after, what was it, 3 years ago that I promoted your...
2 years.
2 years ago, sorry about that. Feels like a long time. Promoting your professional debut. Some hold me responsible for that, but you've come a long way since. And now with your promoter's hat on, just a really great time for Most Valuable Promotions. I'm sure you're very proud of the work you and Nikisa have done. I'll come to Nikisa shortly, and obviously proud of Amanda as well as we sit ahead of this historic event on April 30th.
Yeah, 100%. What an honor to be here at the historic Madison Square Garden. I want to give a big thanks to Jim Dolan and the entire MSG team for making history with us. For real, this is awesome. And women have been boxing since the early 1900s, but it wasn't until 1999 that they were able to compete professionally. So 23 years later, here we are with one of the biggest fights ever, headlined by two women at Madison Square Garden. Today is about Amanda and Katie, the two best female boxers in the world right now. They deserve this stage, they deserve this historic payday, and they deserve to settle who is the pound-for-pound best, which is why I'm excited to see this fight, for real. But it's also about Ann Wolfe, Christy Martin, Layla Ali, Mia St. John, and many other legendary boxers who helped lay the foundation for the ladies to be sitting here today. It's about Clarissa Shields, Michaela Meyer, Alicia Baumgartner, and other amazing professionals currently in the sport. And most of all, it's about the future young women and girls all over the world who will see April 30th as a moment that made the impossible possible, equality as it's meant to be. So it's an honor to be here with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Dazn, Madison Square Garden. We're grateful for Katie Taylor and her team to commit to taking this fight. And of course, most of all, we're proud to stand with Amanda Serrano, the superstar, a woman who has dedicated her whole life to boxing, doesn't have a phone. Meanwhile, I'm posting TikToks all the time. And now it's time to start showing, you know, the commitment she has made and showing the world how important women's boxing is to people like Bob Arum, who misspoke, you know, when he made his comments earlier this week. And he's going to eat his words April 30th, and he's going to see how impactful this fight is. So I'm excited to be here, and let's make history.
Jake, for you, one question. I know it's very much about these two fighters today, but you clearly have fallen in love with the sport of boxing. Is this important for you to give something back as well, to be part of creating history here on April 30th?
100%. You know, I'm a fight fan. I fell in love with boxing. I'm passionate about boxing all the way around. And for me, when I met Amanda Serrano and I heard her stories about how hard she's worked, I see how hard she's training, and she's getting paid, you know, pennies on the dollar, being taken advantage of by people in her career. She needed help, she needed guidance, and she needed to be put on a pedestal. And she's a superstar, and she put the work in the gym. And to me, I'm excited to be promoter Paul, and we might be sitting next to each other, you know, a few more times in the future. So I'll always be involved in this sport and always be pushing to make boxing a better place.
Oh, thank you for your support in this event, Nikisa. With the platform and the noise, but you've put a lot of hard work into this. I think shout out to you and Sean Palmer particularly, going backwards and forwards, and really good to get this over the line. People keep asking me what it's like to work with Jake Paul and Most Valuable Promotions, and the answer was pretty seamless so far. So long may it continue, and looking forward to putting it all together April 30th.
Absolutely. We feel the same way. We're excited to be sitting here with Amanda. It's all about Amanda. Jake has purposely chosen not to fight until later in the year to be able to dedicate our entire platform and energy into giving these two women the right stage and recognition that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikisa. Thank you, Jake. We'll start with what doesn't feel right calling you the challenger for this fight, Amanda, because of everything you've achieved. But this fight really has been bubbling for 2-3 years now. Now it's finally here, and I think one of the greatest achievements is we made it at the right time. Maybe then it was too early. You know, we wouldn't have been main event, Madison Square Garden, main arena. You know, the money that's available for both fighters, this is it. This is the moment in time where the world will stop to watch two great female fighters fight for the Undisputed Championship.
You're definitely right, and I have to thank my my coach, Jordan Maldonado, for not not accepting the first couple of fights and keep going back and forth. And he knows what I was worth, and and now we're working with MVP, and they know exactly what we're worth as well. And timing couldn't be better than right now. Happy National Girl and Woman in Sports Day, which is today. Couldn't be a better day than to do all these press. And yeah, women, we're changing the sport, and I'm super happy. I'm super glad, and honored to share the ring with Katie Taylor. She's a great champion, and we're gonna prove who's the pound for pound best, because everyone's been asking for it.
I know there's a lot of respect between you two. Sometimes a few back and forths over the years as well, but make no mistake, you're coming here with bad intentions and looking to end this fight inside the distance. That's what you do. You have heavy hands. You're very exciting, as is Katie. We can only expect a tremendous fight on April 30th.
Yeah, nothing changed. I'm still Amanda, the real deal Serrano. And, I don't need to talk bad about any of my opponents. I do all my talking inside the ring. I respect Katie Taylor, what she's done. She's opened, between you and her, you guys opened the doors for women's boxing. And now, look, we're headlining MSG. So there's going to be no bad words between us, but in the ring is something different.
And finally, if someone would have said to you a few years ago that, you'd be headlining this arena, main arena, Madison Square Garden, for this type of money and this kind of attention, this kind of legacy, it seems like this was a million miles away. I mean, Katie you were doing it before, Katie, in the pro game. I'm sure the struggle was incredible back then, but this is really just the moment where all your hard work, and not just yours, but all female fighters that Jake talked about as well, it all comes together to show them that the world will change on this night.
No, 13 years I've been a professional. Every other day I wanted to quit. The struggle was real. I never had an easy way out of this. I mean, in the game, and never did I imagine making the money I'm making today and headlining Madison Square Garden. Like, are you serious? It wasn't not even a thought. And look, we're changing the game. Like, now younger girls in the sport can be like, I want to be just like those girls. I want to headline the Garden. Now there's hope for them. We never had that hope, and I'm excited to open those doors.
Thank you, Amanda. We go over to the champion, the undisputed world champion, Katie. I think it was like 7 years ago, you were in my office with Brian trying to tell me that, we could do something in women's boxing. I didn't believe you at the time, but your passion, your love, your drive made me come along for the ride, and what a ride it's been. If we would have sat there at that moment and said one day you'd be headlining, you might have believed it, but I wouldn't have, and many didn't. And this is the moments that you live for.
Yeah, exactly. I think ever since I turned pro, I've had my eyes fixed on two fights. One was Brazil, and the other one was Serrano. And so this is a fight I've been looking forward to for quite some time now. I feel like since the fight has been announced a couple of weeks ago, I'm nearly sitting back just reflecting on these last few years, and it's incredible how far the sport has actually gone in the 5 short years, where we're actually headlining the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. It's been called the biggest fight in female boxing history. This is such a privilege to be part of such an historic moment. This is history right here, and all of our hard work has been all paid off on this night. This is going to be a career-defining night.
I remember going back to when you debuted at Wembley. People they weren't sure, were they? Like, for years we've been banging the drum, and I've just said, just watch Katie Taylor, watch these elite females. It's not about female boxing, it's not about men's boxing, it's just about boxing. And this event already in these last few days feels like people talking about this fight as a major fight, not female fight. I remember we joke about my idea where I came to you a few years ago and said, I'm going to headline you on an all-female card. And that wasn't really your vision, was it? It was just about the perception of equality for great fights.
Yeah, that's it. I think this fight genuinely is the most exciting fight in the sport, not just in female boxing, but in boxing as a whole. And not just because of our records, but I believe that our styles will gel well together. It's going to produce a fantastic fight for the fans. This really is the best fight in boxing right now. And it's not about female boxing or male boxing. This is just boxing. This is top-class boxing. And so this is exactly why we're here.
and we also know you two are fierce competitors. There's a lot of respect. We're all here celebrating the fact that this is even happening, but we know when you go back to the gym, still quite a long way to go, but you and her, Amanda, will be desperate for victory on April 30th. I know what a winner you are, what a competitor you are. You have to retain those belts here.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we're both great champions, and she has a great record. There's no doubt about it. She's a great fighter. We're going to be both stepping into the ring and fight night, believing that we're both going to come out victorious. But I do believe that when you look down the list of our opponents, you'll see recognizable names on my resume. You'll see the likes of McCaskill, the likes of Pursoon, the likes of Jonas, among others, and you'll also see top-class amateur boxers as an amateur as well. So I have been tested, I have been refined in the fire, and I believe that we'll stand to be in a fight this competitive. So we're both going to go in the best shape possible, and may the best fighter win.
Well, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Amanda. Tickets will go on sale this week. We expect to fill up the Garden completely. As I said to Joe earlier, an unbelievable undercard being planned for April 30th already. Jesse Vargas, two-division world champion, will take on Liam Smith from Liverpool. The undisputed super middleweight world championship between Cruz Dazn and Serrano also on the card, as well as many, many more. And from our side, from Matchroom, from all of our team, we want to thank everybody for their support. This feels like a really iconic moment for the world of boxing, a moment that a lot of us have worked very hard towards. Thank you, Jake, as well, for all your hard work to get this over the line. Nikisa, most valuable promotions. But most of all, as Jake said, to those great fighters that have come before them. But for now, we celebrate Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, who will make history here at Madison Square Garden, April 30th, live on Dazn. Do not miss it. We will have a head-to-head here and everyone available for the media. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you. We'll leave them there,
Do
yeah?
a couple of quick pictures without, and then we'll do something.
Just one with the belts, Katie, please. As well.
Guys, one more with the belt from Amanda.
I'll do that for your way. Who said belts don't matter, right?
Jake, hold those other two, so you should hold them so they're all there.
Thank you so much
for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.